A total of 2 hours per week will be allotted for Jim and Bobye Holt to communicate with their children via telephone. The erstwhile close friends of Jim, Bob, and Michelle Duggar, Jim and Bobye Holt, have been deprived of custody of their 2 children who are still minors. This decision was made by an Arkansas court who considered the parents to be unfit, as a result of the fact that their eldest daughter had begun a flirtation with their eldest son Josh with the intention of getting married. Jim, 59, and Bobby, 55, were good friends with Jim, Bob, 59, and Michelle, 58. Bobby filed a petition for an order of protection against her husband, with whom she has 11 children, in April of 2023. However, she ultimately decided to withdraw the petition in December of the same year. Therefore, in January of 2024, Spencer, the son of Jim and Bobby, submitted a petition for emergency guardianship for 3 of their youngest children, alleging abuse as the reason for the petition. Now, according to court documents, the United States son is able to announce in an exclusive manner that Jim and Bobby have been denied custody of their children, who are 13 and 8 years old. Spencer asserted that Jim has engaged in a pattern of severe physical and mental abuse of the minor children throughout their life, as witnessed and experienced by the other children who are now over 18 years of age. This assertion was made in the petition for emergency guardianship that was obtained by the United States son from Madison County Court in Arkansas. Spencer stated that he has developed a close personal relationship with the minor children throughout their lives. Spencer took notice of the 2 protection orders that were issued against the father of the children on behalf of his son Samuel Holt and his wife Bobby. The order that she issued, which protected the 3 young children, was issued against the father. Spencer said that Bobby released the protective order without any prior warning and let Jim to return home with the children who were under the age of 13. Bobby has thus again subjected the children to the same physical and mental abuse at the hands of the father that was the cause of the first protection order, without warning or reason, and is not fit to have custody of the children, the documents state. Bobby is not fit to have custody of the children. After that, Spencer went on to explain that Samuel's order of protection, which the court had issued, is still in effect due of years of physical and mental abuse. It is quite understandable that the youngsters are terrified of him, father of Spencer Holt and Mr. Jim, due to the fact that the father of the children has followed this pattern with all of his children, including the 3 children who are still minors. He is not qualified to have custody of the children. According to the documents, it would be in the best interests of the minor children to create a temporary and permanent guardianship placing custody of the minor children with the petitioner. This would be in accordance with the petitioner's desires. Spencer continued his allegations by stating that there is an emergency situation in which the children's father has recently engaged in a continuing pattern of physical violence with the children and has subjected the minor children to witnessing the physical and mental abuse of the other siblings, and the children are understandably afraid of him. Jim Holt has communicated his plans to the children in the event that he is granted permission to return to the house for a visit. Bobye Holt has made it quite evident that she is reluctant to safeguard the children from this risk by voluntarily withdrawing the protective order that she had previously obtained. Additionally, he requested that he be designated as the guardians of person and the estate of the younger children as soon as possible. Discrediting the suggestions, in their response to the petition, Jim and Bobby made the following assertions about the protection order and abuse. Respondents admit that 2 orders of protection were consented to without an evidentiary hearing being held. The protective order has been revoked by Bobye Holt since it was issued. The protection order that was issued against Samuel, which was based on behavior that was said to have occurred after Samuel had reached the age of majority, is still in effect. The respondents, to the extent that any additional response is necessary, claim that the claims are false. When asked about the claims that the children are afraid of their father, the couple reacted by saying, "Respondents deny the allegations." Since the respondents have provided a comprehensive response to the petition, they are requesting that the petition be denied and dismissed in its entirety, and that the petitioner get no compensation for the fees and costs expended by their attorneys in connection with the petition. As well, as any other remedy that the court finds to be just and appropriate. Spencer, according to Jim and Bobby, is neither qualified nor suitable to be a guardian, and they have suggested that another couple be appointed in the event that a guardian is required. Following the evidence of the parties and their witnesses, as well as the arguments of the attorneys, the court reached the conclusion in February 2024 that Spencer is qualified, suitable, and fit to serve as the guardian of the 3 individuals who are under the age of 18. According to the findings of this court, there is an urgent threat to the health and safety of the minor children as a result of a history and continuing pattern of abuse in the household of James and Bobye Holt. As a consequence of this, it is desired to have a guardian in order to safeguard the interests of the minor children. In accordance with the documents filed with the court, Spencer was appointed as the permanent guardian of the kid who was the oldest and the interim guardian of the 2 children who were younger. Jim was given the directive to continue his present treatment sessions until the counselor gave him permission to leave. Visitation between the children and their parents is to take place under the supervision of the children's counselor as well as the attorney ad litem for the children who would be considered minors. Additionally, it was ordered that Jim and Bobby pay child support to Spencer for the children who were under the age of 18. The guardianship of the oldest kid, who was still a minor, was terminated in May of 2024 due to the fact that she has attained the age of 18. The new guardian. However, a petition to replace the guardian was submitted in the month of August in the year 2024. The current guardian, Spencer Holt, has agreed that it is in the children's best interest for the substitute petitioner to be appointed guardian of the minor children at this time, the petition states. The replacement petitioner is Christian Holt, who is the elder biological sibling of the children who are under the age of 18. The minor children have a close relationship with their siblings, including the substitute petitioner, who has established a community of care, support, and resources for the minor children at this period. The minor children have a close relationship with their siblings. The children have expressed a desire to move into Christian Holt's care and custody on a full-time basis, and they have enjoyed spending a significant amount of time with their older sibling, Christian Holt, while the temporary guardianship has been in effect. Jim and Bobby provided the following response to the request. Respondents admit that all of their children, both grown and minor, have had a close relationship with one another and are thankful that their children have each other for support. However, respondents do not believe that all of their grown children's behavior has been directed toward assisting the minor children in addressing the emotional harm that has been caused to the minor children's relationship with their parents and healing said relationship. The allegations that they have made are that Spencer and Christian have taken actions to alienate their minor children from them. The respondents have reason to think that Christian Holt in particular is filled with tremendous bile toward both of the respondents, and because of her animosity, she is not suited to function as guardians, due to the fact that they think this has impeded the children's ability to mentally and emotionally recover. When Jim and Bobby made their request, they said that Christian Holt is not permitted to have guardianship of the minor children, custody decision that is final. On the other hand, the petition for Christian to be the guardian of the 2 young children was approved by the Arkansas court, who was investigating the matter on September 26. This came after the parties engaged in mediation that took place on September 18. According to the documents filed with the court makes the following determination. The court finds that the parents of the minor children are currently unfit, and the children are in need of a guardian to protect their life and health, and it is in the best interest of the children that a guardian be appointed at this time. Moreover, the court concludes that Christian Holt possesses the necessary qualifications and is appropriate to act as the guardian. The arrangement stipulates that Jim and Bobby are permitted to make 2 phone conversations each week with the minor children. These calls are scheduled to take place on Thursdays and Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. A visiting service is required to provide supervision for the duration of the visitation term, which is 8 weeks. Every week on Mondays, visitation will take place for a period of 2 hours. Following the completion of 8 weeks, visiting will take place during the day in a public setting and for a total of 3 hours each week. In the following 4 weeks, Jim and Bobby will have unsupervised visitation on Mondays from 8 in the morning until 7 in the evening. Then, visitation will remain unsupervised every Sunday from 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock on Monday, 4 weeks after that length of time has passed. After a period of 4 weeks, visitation will take place every Sunday at 1 o'clock and every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Last but not least, visitation will be placed every Sunday from 1 o'clock to 8 o'clock, beginning 4 weeks following that period. The minor children shall return to the legal and physical custody of the respondents once they have completed the visitation that was outlined above, subjects to visitation with the guardian that is outlined below, and the guardianship shall automatically terminate unless a petition has been filed to the contrary, the court stated. The guardian will have visitation every other weekend from Friday at 3:30 p.m. to Monday at 8 o'clock, and every Tuesday evening from 3:30 p.m. to Wednesday at 8 o'clock, for a period of 12 months, beginning when the minor children are restored to the legal care of Jim and Bobby. Christian is entitled to receive child support payments from Jim and Bobby in the amount of $670 each month. Upon receiving a request for response from the United States Sun, Jim Holt responded by denying the accusations and ruling, stating that the information is erroneous and under seal. He concluded by saying, "Beyond that, we have no further response. Applications for protection order. Following the filing of an order of protection against Jim by Bobby, the custody case has been initiated. In the petition for an order of protection that was previously reported on by the United States Sun, Bobby indicated that she is submitting the petition because she believes she continues to be in immediate danger of domestic abuse. Additionally, she marked down the box that said, 'I am the parent or guardian of a child who I believe is in danger of being abused in the home. On 6 April 2023, my adult son got belligerent with his father, and in return, his father, my husband, got physical with our adult son, all the while in front of our minor children,' Bobby, who married Jim in 1987, stated in the affidavit. This occurred in front of our children who were under the age of 18. I have urged my husband on several occasions to stop and to refrain from doing this, particularly in front of our children who are still little. I was told to hold my tongue on multiple occasions. I believe now that my adult son has filed charges against his father, and I feel that my husband would confront me in the presence of my minor children," Bobby proceeded to assert. "I believe that my son has filed charges against his father. Despite the fact that, to the best of my knowledge, he has not engaged in any physical contact with our small children, I do not believe that it is in their best interest for them to be exposed to this kind of conflict between my husband and I. Although my husband has been physically abusive in the past with our other children, who are now adults but were in their teenage years at the time, he has never been physically abusive with our current children, who are 16 years old, nearly 17, 11 years old, and 7 years old. On the other hand, I believe that there is a plausible rationale for this order to be implemented at this time. Due to the fight that occurred on April 6, 23rd, I have been given the recommendation to remove the children from his presence. This is because there was another altercation between my adult son who was present. Bobby said that she and the children under the age of 18 were not there during the other altercation. She continued her allegations by saying, "Since then, I have relocated myself, my children, and my elder son to the residence of my son. There is no evidence that this son is the one who is bringing accusations against his father. On the other hand, we would prefer to return to our houses. You need not be concerned that he may come and confront or emotionally injure our children who are still little. I feel that our house is the most stable location and the greatest place for our children to be, rather than the apartment that my eldest son is now living in. I would appreciate it if you will help." Bobby made a plea that further protection be provided for the 3 minor children who were under their care from their father. For the period of time until May 8, 2033, a final order of protection was issued. A prohibition was placed on Jim to stay away from any place where petitioner and/or minors may be located. Bobby was granted interim custody of the children who were under the age of 18. a reconciliation between Jim and Bobby. Following that, on December 29, 2023, Bobby submitted a request to have the order revoked. As she noted, Jim has made significant progress in obtaining the assistance he requires. Friends, letters from the therapist, paperwork that he submitted, complying with the order for 8.5 months, never contacting me or being on my property via cameras for proof, and word of mouth from 4 guys who have counseled with us separately for the duration of the situation have all provided me with this information, with the intention of undergoing joint treatment. The statements, I request the dismissal freely and voluntarily and of my own free will, and I am no longer in fear of respondent, were both ticked off by her on the form. The Holt family discusses everything. During the launch of Shiny Happy People, Duggar Family Secrets on Amazon Prime in June 2023, the pair gave off the impression of being thrilled and friendly with one another. Through the documentary series, the Duggar family's affiliation with the contentious group known as the Institute of Basic Life Principles was brought to light. As they recounted their decades-long friendship with Jim, Bob, and Michelle, Jim and Bobby remained hand in hand throughout the conversation. In the course of the documentary series, Bobby asserted, over the course of the years, our relationship with them had grown. The man who was in love with our first daughter was Josh, who was their eldest son. Since the time he was a little child, we had known him. Bobby and Jim claimed in the documentary series that the marriage broke up after Josh, who was 36 at the time, reportedly admitted to sexually assaulting 5 different women in the family home between the years 2002 and 2003. As victims, his younger sisters Jill, who is 32 years old and starred in the documentary series, and Jessa, who is 31 years old, came forward. The statement that Bobby made was that Jim Bob had informed them that Josh had gotten himself into some difficulties. He has improperly touched at least one of his sisters. During the documentary series, Jim stated, we found out about it when he was 15 years old. We were thinking to ourselves, all right, when were you going to tell us? Michelle said, well, we weren't going to tell you guys at all. And she continued, once they were married, we intended to have Josh confess to Kaylee about what he found out. Jim raised his voice and asked, were you using my daughter as a carrot to get him to behave in the appropriate manner? And he responded with a yeah, kind of. A representative representing Jim, the United States son, made a request for comment at the time, but Bob and Michelle did not react to the request.